Hello everyone, my name is Nick and welcome back to From the Depths. I am reporting to you live from the bridge of the Jebediah class battleship with some very exciting news, and that is we now have in this beautiful game plasma cannons. Now what is a plasma cannon, you ask? And the answer is something wonderful. Something amazing, something that we are going to experiment with today. So what we're going to do in this video is we are going to take a generic hull of a ship that I have designed. We're going to play around with the plasma cannons, see what they're capable of, and do a general introduction to them. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So we're going to kick things off by having a look at all of the new parts that this update has added to the game. So we have a whole new tab here on the left, which is super exciting, the Plasma Cannons tab here. And the way a plasma cannon works is pretty simple compared to some of the other cannons in the game. So first you have your generator piece, which essentially takes the ammo and materials that you have on your ship and converts them into like plasma charges. And then you have the actual chamber, which is the stored plasma from the generator is loaded into the chamber, which is then connected to the collector, so you basically connect the chambers to the collector and all the plasma is stored in the collector, and then you connect the collector to the accelerator, which you can think of as the barrel essentially, and then you get to choose sort of a barrel cap. So you can either have the stabilizer, the splitter, or the destabilizer, and it says what they each do here, but basically the stabilizer allows it to shoot much further. The splitter, you can think of as a shotgun. It basically splits the plasma into multiple beams, and the destabilizer, let's see what it says it does. It splits a single charge into 2 shots and reduces armor piercing value. Okay, so you get 2 shots out of 1 charge, but you get less AP damage. So the best way to test this, of course, is to build one. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So for this part of the video, I actually built a demo plasma cannon for us to see how these perform. And essentially, the plasma cannons are pretty simple, especially compared to APS cannons in the game. You start with the generator block, of which there are 2 variants, and this takes ammo and electricity on board your ship and transforms them into plasma. You then connect these generators to chamber blocks, which take those plasma charges you've generated and stores them. And then the chamber blocks have to be connected up to a collector block, which takes all the charges stored in the chambers and feeds them into the barrel. And then you have the plasma forward mantlet or the plasma anti-air mantlet, both of which are essentially like the advanced firing piece of the plasma cannon. And then on the end of the mantlet you have the accelerator, which determines your projectile speed depending on how long it is. You can also attach heat sinks to the accelerator to prevent it from overheating and maybe increase your rate of fire. And finally, on the end of the barrel we have the end pieces. Okay, so we've got our cannon together here, or at least a preliminary version of it. So this will be a good way to show you guys what the general configuration is. So deep within the turret well here, at the very bottom of it, we have the chamber blocks. And these, I had a little trouble aligning them correctly. It does matter which direction faces which way. So the chamber stores plasma charges, and then on the side of each chamber we have a generator block, which uses the ammo and energy on the ship to generate those charges and feeds them into the chamber. So I've got a 3-barrel setup here. They're identical. And we've just plugged the generators directly into the side of these chamber blocks. And then we go further up and we get to the collector, which moves plasma charges from all of the chambers attached to it to the accelerator. So we could also theoretically put a chamber like this. Hang on, let me figure this out. On the side. That's not connected properly. There we go. And that would also allow us to feed more charges into the collector. And then the collector connects directly to the plasma forward mantlet, which is also interchangeable with the anti-air mantlet, which I have here. Oh, don't need 2, just 1. It's just like an elevation versus a normal mantlet. It just determines the elevation and firing angle of the turret. And then you have the accelerator, which increases the maximum energy that can be used to accelerate the charges, which is fancy talk for make lightning bolt go faster. And then at the end of the barrel, we have the finish piece, I guess. I've put a stabilizer on these. We'll swap them out with other ones to see what they do. This is by no means the most efficient setup, but it's good enough to get us going. So I'm going to encase this in some basic armor, and we're going to see how this thing performs. Okay, so here in front of us, we have a very, and I want to emphasize, very basic ship that I have constructed specifically for the role of testing these new plasma cannons. One really interesting feature here you can see is that the barrels stay level with the water even as the ship tilts, which I think is a really cool touch. Also, I noticed that they retextured all of the like AI blocks, which is super cool. But anyway, we're literally going to have two of these gunboats fight against each other and just chew each other up. So we have mine over here. I'm going to go ahead and spawn a second one over here and give it to the Deepwater Guard. I will also post the link to this on the workshop so you can use it as an example ship if you want. But without further ado, let's hear the cool sounds these things make. Oh, such good sound. Gotta love that. So we're just gonna see how the two ships behave and how much damage the railgun does. So it already looks like, and granted these ships are primarily lightweight alloy, but it looks like they're tearing a good chunk out of each other. Let's look at the bow of this one. Yeah, holy cow, okay, so they're just duking it out. Doesn't appear to do any kind of EMP damage, at least not that I'm aware of. Neither of these ships has surge protectors. Does look to be quite potent though, and very, very high rate of fire. We'll get into the specifics of each gun in a minute. Ooh, hit the sensor tower. Yeah, we'll get into an in-depth look at the actual guns themselves and what parts of the guns, you know, sort of add or subtract. Ooh, good hit. So look at the way the plasma kind of tears through the armor there. Oh, are we done? Are we done firing? Is your AI dead? Must be. Yeah, okay, so that's a pretty... No, your AI is not dead. Your turret must be shot or something. I don't know. For some reason, they both stopped firing at exactly the same time. But anyway, the plasma cannons seem to be pretty potent. Let's lift one of these ships out of the water here. So from just that brief engagement, we can see chewed a pretty good hole through this ship's lightweight armor. Doesn't look like any damage. Actually, there is some damage to the metal armor of this turret, and some damage to the bow as well. That's pretty impressive for how quick of an engagement that was. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pause the game first. We're going to repair this ship, and we'll repair this guy. We'll repair this guy also, just to be fair. And what I'm going to do, so first let's look at this turret itself. If we actually look at the firing piece, let me see here if I can do that. Yeah, okay, so here we have some statistics about the gun. So is that the entire thing or the yeah, let's see. So I can't actually see the firing piece, but anyway, the projectile speed is 1,472 meters per second, which is absolutely insane. Okay, hang on. I think I've broken the game by pausing it. Let me lift this up out of the water, and also let me tell this AI.
Listening.
do not fire and disable movement. So, okay, now we're going to lift you up out of the water and we're going to mess with your turret. Okay. Turn on symmetry mode. That one is looking a little dangerous down there. So let's get rid of these stabilizers on the end. Okay, yeah, so these are the statistics for the entire gun. So without the magnetic stabilizer, the firepower is 8.4, 1 charge per shot, and 805 damage per shot, at an insane projectile speed of 1,472 meters per second. That is insane. I want to try this magnetic splitter out. So we're going to put these on the end of the guns, and we're going to see now what happens. So let me turn
taking control, weapons
movement
only,
and firing back on. And you
listening,
engage.
engaging now.
Are you going to fire those cannons, or just going to float them around? It's interesting. Why are they not firing? Oh, you know what it must be? Yeah, these batteries have become discharged. I didn't actually hook them up to any kind of a generator. I can just do that real quick. So let me see. How do I want to do this? Well, the easy thing to do is just to sort of cheese the game here and just replace the batteries. And I think, yeah, okay, they're charged. So I see a bunch of blocks coming off that ship, which tells me that we're getting good hits in. So if, oh yeah, wow, that's, holy cow, that's pretty good damage for very small turret here. Let's get a look at it firing. Okay, interesting. Okay, come on. Ooh, man. Okay, so we traded basically higher damage for a slower rate of fire, which I think is a good, decent trade-off. Especially since it's still a relatively quick rate of fire. Now this ship is defenseless because its batteries are discharged, which is fine because this is just for testing. So let's do one more thing with this.
Listening.
Let's deactivate firing of weapons and turn the AI off. Going to reset our batteries here. This is the worst way to do it, and please actually build a legitimate ship when you try this instead of using my patent-pending jank methods. Okay, let's turn on symmetry mode. The last barrel that we have is the magnetic destabilizer, so it splits a single charge into 2 shots and reduces armor piercing. Okay, so I understand what's going on here. So this one basically is probably going to have a higher rate of fire, but less damage. So it will take each charge and it will get 2 shots out of it, basically. So let's drop that back in the water, and we will do auto movement and activate firing. Look at that thing! Holy cow! So we got that first really strong barrage from all the charges stored up in the collectors and the chambers. Oh, and it's killed the AI. I'm actually going to fix that. Okay, we're actually getting shot at now, too. I think. Maybe not. No, we're not. Okay, so you can basically choose whether you want to build, like, a high damage, low rate of fire cannon or a very fast firing, lower damage cannon. Now, obviously, these are very energy intensive. There are 2 large batteries on this ship, and look how quickly the charge is going down on those. So, well, granted, they aren't hooked up to any kind of a generator, but still, I mean, that's a very effective weapon. Look at how quickly it chews through the ship. Jeez. Okay. That ship is dead, and we are out of charge. So, cool. Those plasma cannons are surprisingly effective. Let's have another look here at our turret. So, the accelerator also needs to cool down. You can add a heatsink to prevent that. Okay, and you literally strap that to the barrel. Okay, and that cools the accelerator faster, which I assume allows a faster rate of fire. And then I have to tell this thing it can't shoot right now.
Turning off.
I need to edit your turret. I don't want you shooting things. So the other thing that we could do, I think, to make this even more potent as a weapon is we can remove these, and we can add even more accelerators and heat sinks, I think. And we'll see if this can increase our rate of fire. I'm going to put on the highest rate of fire thing here. That is a pretty insane looking gun on this tiny little gunboat that barely even floats. Okay, so let's do repair and enable gunfire.
Weapons only.
Oh, and I need to also, hang on, get out of the water. I need to replace your batteries. Let me do that real fast. Don't do what I'm doing. Just build your ships correctly the first time. It shot itself. Okay, so that did not significantly increase our rate of fire, which tells me that our bottleneck is probably in the chambers or the collector. But it did, it seems, increase the damage per shot, because look how quickly we chewed through that thing. Holy cow. That is very impressive for such a small gun. I guess it's not a very small gun, it's just a small ship. Small ship that seems to think it's a submarine. Wow, that is, even the metal, it chews through the metal no problem. So now the question is, well, I have to tell it not to fire again. We'll do one final test here, and we'll just change to the highest damage barrel that we can do, and we'll see how that affects this ship. So that would be the stabilizer, or I guess the splitter. So we will just replace these. Yeah, so what these do is they take multiple charges and pack them into one projectile. The destabilizer takes one charge and splits it into two projectiles. So you're kind of getting two different sides of the coin. I'm going to repair this, and we're going to enable firing and watch the chaos.
Weapons only.
So, a much slower rate of fire, but devastating hits. I mean, it just sheared the armor off the top of that cannon. Let's shoot, shall we? Or are you out of energy again? Do you need your batteries replaced? It must. Man, it ran through that quick. So let's replace the batteries again. Symmetry mode on for simplicity's sake. Yeah. Okay, why are we going submarine mode? That's not what you're intended to do. Didn't get a good hit in on that one, but what? Oh man. Tore a hole right in the bridge. Holy cow. Okay, so extremely effective here. I'm so confused. This poor ship. I should have done a better job designing you. Okay. So, and let's have a look at our gun as we move here. So if I click on you, go to the accelerator. So you can see as it loads the charges into the gun, it waits for all 4 charges and then fires as soon as it's above the water, which it currently is not. And then, so the cooling is not the bottleneck here, but rather... Why are you underwater? Rather, the charges are the bottleneck. So there's obviously some gun optimization that you can do here, but the takeaway from this is that the plasma cannons are extremely effective weapons. They're also probably extremely expensive. In fact, let's check it out. So if we look at the advanced cannons, the firing piece is only 100, the mantlets are 40, the barrels are 20. The plasma, the firing piece is 50, which is not too bad, but the collectors and chambers are 150 each. The heatsink is very expensive, and the accelerator is also very expensive. So anyway, plasma cannons. They're very effective. They seem to be pretty versatile, if expensive and energy intensive, which I would argue is usually worth it. I am excited to incorporate these into some kind of a future build. I think that these would really shine on like a battleship with a big heavy armament. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think of the new plasma cannons. Hopefully no one thinks they're unbalanced. I do think they don't seem crazy powerful, just relatively potent. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. Come back for future videos. We're doing a whole series on the channel right now called Project Prometheus. Where is this ship going? Project Prometheus is a series where the AI, ChatGPT, is building an armada, and I am building an armada to fight ChatGPT's armada. So check that out if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.